For those of you who don't know, leveling up is a computer term, and it's kind of, you're pushing yourself to the next level, you're trying harder, you're doing something really important. What I would have called this before is social skydiving, in the context that you understand it, because what it involves is using our language, going up to people, complete strangers, and starting to speak to them. And that sounds scary and impractical and whatever, but I've just done that today with Moses, and it just answers so many of these excuses people tell me that I can't practice my language because I'm not in the country. We're almost up to 10 languages here in Columbus, Ohio. I mean, it really emphasizes that where you are does not matter. I mean, I hear people give me excuses and they're in California, New York, and it's really I do this over the internet, but I have to say I was surprised at how easy and non-intimidating it was to do this. So could you tell us your view? How does this whole leveling up work, and why should people consider?
Just use something very common. For example, like today, I went up to a guy and I asked him, "Hey, do you know where there's an arcade? We're looking for the arcade." And he said, "I don't know. I think it's down outside the mall somewhere." And that's very common. It's not rude to ask someone where a particular place is. So once you do that, it gets get them comfortable. Then you can ask them kindly where they're from. Ask them, "Hey, I noticed that you have an accent. Well, may I ask where you're from?" And then they will 99% of the time they're gonna tell you where they're from. Once they tell you where they're from, then you can ask them in that language, "Hey, do you speak this language?" And they get surprised, and there it is. You broke the ice. Conversation started. You may even be there for an hour or two speaking with these people, because once you do that, they are very, very interested. They wanting to know why you're learning this language. It's just...
Yeah, because this major excuse people would give, even me, I haven't done this before in this kind of context. I would generally go to a couch surfing party, or I would message someone over the internet to meet up in person, and that way we have some kind of connection, and there's no problem for me to go up and speak to them. But people would generally say, in all contexts, not just with strangers, but with somebody who you might already have a social connection with, that you are going to frustrate them.
Generally, people aren't going to be frustrated. They're not going to be annoyed. Once you start speaking with them, it's like, it was a quote. It was something by Mandela, I think you said.
Yeah, Nelson Mandela. He said something about speaking a language a man understands touches his head. Speaking the language he was born with touches his heart. I forget the exact quote.
And it's true.
Yeah.
It's like, even if some people say, "Well, I'm not fluent yet. I don't want to do it." No, it doesn't even matter. If you say a couple phrases, a couple words, you touch these people literally.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that everyone go get phrase books and just learn a couple words and phrases and that's it. Don't take it to a higher level. Basically, what I'm saying is just get out there at the beginning, because it's motivating. It makes you want to learn more. Just because it's very, very motivating. Just because it's experience. You say, "Oh, I had this little conversation with the native today. I want to learn more. So when the next time I go level up, I will be able to express myself more."
Absolutely. And the one thing that both of us, that's the core of how we learn languages, is we both have a speak from day one philosophy. And it really does work like that. You learn a couple of phrases, like even just, "I want to learn your language," or "Hello, how are you?" just to start off with. And when you get into speaking that with somebody, you will see just a big smile on their face. And this is why the whole thing, maybe very, very rarely you might find someone frustrated, but every single person we went up to today had this beaming smile on their face. And it's been my experience as well, in the country and abroad. I mean, the only difference that you were telling me is in America, generally, you would never go up to the person and just speak the language to them.
Right.
You would generally start with English and say something like, "Do you know what time it is?" An excuse just to kind of start talking to them. And then where you're from. And at that stage, you've kind of broken the ice a little bit. And people, they'll answer. Even the people who are working, they were very busy working. They were still very patient and very happy to talk to us.
Yes.
So, I mean, this whole thing, it's amazing that I've seen Moses do what he does, and he's been doing this for a long time here in Columbus, and you can really find any language you want.
Any language.
It's incredible. the random languages that we were coming across today.
So random. And like I said, malls, I think malls are probably the best places to go to because it's so random. You just see so many people. And like I said, it's very common for someone to ask about the time or what time the place closes. So you can't go wrong by walking up to someone. Hey, do you know what time this place closes? Do you know what time it is? Just something very simple to break the ice.
And when you ask the question, oh, where are you from? What languages do you speak? If they're not interested, which is actually a lot rarer than you think it is, but if they say, "Oh, I'm sorry," or if they don't speak the language that you want to practice, you've wasted 1 minute.
1 minute, that's
and
it.
That's it. It's really not as. I mean, you're not going to get any kind of aggression. They're not going to shout at you. There's nothing like this. People have such worst case scenarios envisioning going up to somebody. I have to admit, it is it's new for me, and you'll see in the footage. I'm really hesitant because I'm used to more social situations. I'm not the kind of person to just walk blank up to a complete stranger and just start speaking to them without any rhyme or reason, unless we're in a particular social environment. But Moses has shown me that even my own limitation, I have to question that because it's amazing. Like, people are so open to these situations, especially in America. It's such a novelty when you see somebody try to speak their language, and they're so helpful. They'll be encouraging, depending on the person. I mean, some people, it's that they're in such an English mode that they'd be complimenting you, but they'd be doing it in English. Right. So that's not ideal. It's nothing against your particular level. I think it's just because it's their own associations.
Right.
But even the people who would speak to us a bit in English, they were happy to exchange contact details, to introduce us to their friends and their families, and from there you have even more opportunities. How did you come up with this? I mean, it's just such an interesting way to get into learning languages,
I just remember back when I started learning Chinese, I was with my best friend, and we started by going to universities. That's where it started.
Okay.
Because, universities are very diverse. So we would just walk around the library, just on campus in general. And when we see Asians, we approach them, ask them, hey, do you know what time it is? Say, oh, yeah. May I ask where you're from? Hey, I'm from Japan. I'm from China. And we just practice with them. Then we were getting a lot of, just the expression. They were like, oh, wow, you're learning Chinese, learning Japanese, blah, blah, blah. And we said, you know what? I want to do that again. Next day, we'll go back home, get our books out, look through some notes, say, you know what? I'm going to use this tomorrow. Get right back out on the battlefield, do it again.
Yeah.
Do it over and over and over and over and over again, and you'll be surprised how much you will learn.
Yeah, it's really effective because you're combining both the, as people call it, output, like actual interactions with people, and studying.
Right.
And for me, this is such a huge motivation because generally I find studying to be quite boring. If you just tell me, Benny, go study this language, that's not going to work. But by interacting with people, I feel pumped. I'm like, wow, now I know particular things that I need to work on to be able to express myself a little bit better. And, I feel I want to push the conversation up a little bit. And I feel like I study effectively and, efficiently with a plan of action. Because I've spoken, my studying works around my spoken sessions rather than the other way around. And that's the way it always should be, that you're using a language from the start, it's a means of communication, and you're studying, studying does help a lot. It helps you tweak your grammar, it helps you learn new vocabulary, but when you do it in the right context, it's how people can learn the language effectively. Right. And just seeing today, I mean, like the various languages you are breaking into, some, as you said, you are survival, but they still really appreciate it.
Yeah,
they love
very
it.
basic. Like, for example, Fulani.
They'll never get it insulted,
I only know like 3 words in Fulani. I mean, when I was in that African market and I threw that Fulani out there, they loved it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what level you're on. And again, I'm not saying to get phrase books, learn a couple words, and just do that. You want to go to a higher level, but the thing you want to do is get out there right away, because you're going to feel. There's something you're going to feel. You're going to feel this motivation. You're going to learn more. Want to get back out there tomorrow, get back out there the day after tomorrow. You just keep doing it. Yeah. So,
and it's easier to find people than you think. I mean, we found all of these languages in Columbus, Ohio, And like, it just boggles my mind when people say all these excuses. I can't practice, or they say I have to go to the country. You do not have to go to the country. I mean, most people that I talk to are learning the likes of French and Spanish, major languages that are very, very easy to find. And I hear them, I need to go to Spain, I need to go to Mexico. I'm like, no. You've got so many opportunities here. Today, we went to the Spanish store, and we just started talking to people, and we complimented this guy, and cute baby, and that got us into a conversation. And then in the market, like we ended up buying a fish, and like when you think about it, we were in there a good 20 or so minutes, and the fish is $3.
Yep.
So it's not that big a deal. You're not like, if you're in a situation where you're expected to buy something, then buy something. Buy the cheapest thing you see.
Yep.
And it's like that works out way cheaper than like a private lesson or something.
Oh yeah.
And you never know. In that one interaction, you could get more motivation to meet people, more friends.
It's very very motivating. Very very motivating. So, hey, you guys saw it. You saw the video. Benny got out there. He was a little hesitant, but hey, all we can say is just get out there and try it.
Yeah, you got to level up, and I'm in my next projects. I believe I will be leveling up quite a lot. It's very effective. It's you get your adrenaline flowing, and you're really getting into it. A language is this living part of your life. Absolutely amazing. I love it. Do you have any closing words for us on?
Only thing I can say is just get out there and try it. Don't be afraid. I was I would probably say I was very very shy. Like I was probably one of the most shyest. Like in my school, I wouldn't talk to anyone. I would put myself in the category of anti-socialism. I wouldn't talk to anyone. But after getting into this language learning, leveling up, it changed my life completely when it comes to just speaking with people, communication. So I will advise anyone to just get out, especially if you have a problem with this socializing with people. Learn a language, get out there and just try to interact with them. That's all I can really say. Yeah,
I agree absolutely 100%. Well, I've had a wonderful day with you. I'm sorry the visit has been so short.
Well,
I've been very glad that I finally got to meet the man himself. Big fan of your YouTube channel. Hold on. Let's switch hats.
Let's switch. He wants to switch sweaty hats.
Switch sweaty hats. I love this. Look at this. I love this hat, man. Alright guys, thanks for watching. And we'll have more language updates coming soon enough.
Happy language learning.
See you guys later.